Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Danae, and I'm here with a message for you. Happy Friday, yay, 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 yay. Last Friday before Christmas, last weekend before Christmas. I hope that you've gotten all of your shopping done or that you are well on your way to it and that you have a prosperous and peaceful shopping experience, that you hit hella licks out there and get everything that you want to get for your loved ones or for yourself. Don't forget to get something for yourself. So let's see, there's something I wanted to say. So I posted on the community tab yesterday, kind of late, so you may or may not have connected with it for the first time slot of prayer. But the Ghetto Nun, some of you may follow her or have seen her post in passing. Extraordinary reader, spiritualist, woman of God, self-proclaimed, but definitely someone that I've engaged with in the YouTube space for a long time now in terms of her inspiration to me to just be authentically who I am. As if like how authentic she really is and unconventional that her expression is in the spiritual community. And it's really, I've always admired her as a beacon of light for others just to be unapologetically themselves, like she is, in my opinion, the poster child, for that expression. But every now and again, this isn't my first time tapping into it or even sharing it, but it is on this channel. And it's been a while since she did it, but every now and again, she does what she calls a prayer event, which is more or less just a call for corporate prayer where anybody can tap in at a specific time on a specific date according to your own time zone, like really no frills, no fluff about it, just whatever the timing is set and date is set is when you just tap in for prayer, meditation, proclamation, however you bridge that connection between yourself and spirit, source, God, universe, whatever it is your engagement is, So anyway, I did post it that it was at 12:22 a.m., which is definitely since passed. And then 12:22 p.m., which literally just passed. I just got out of that prayer session. And for me, it always goes a bit over. It was supposed to be for 12 minutes and 22 seconds. But it's amazing how fast time passes when you're praying, like when you're really tapped into spirit. It seemed like a minute, when I set my timer, and usually I just keep going until spirit cuts me off, you know what I mean? So anyway, the good news is that I'm bringing all of that prayer energy to this reading. So hopefully it gets to be transmitted accordingly in the highest vibration and frequency. The not so good news is that you may have missed the time slots as they were designated, but also on the flip side of that, it's never too late to tap in for prayer. So if you didn't quite catch 12:22 a.m. or p.m., which is past, or maybe you're on the West Coast or somewhere else central that it hasn't passed for you. So even better of good news that there's still time for you. Well, by the time you see this, I don't know if it's going to take 3 hours to post or if I'm going to take 3 hours to post it. But either way, whenever you hear this, the spirit of the day is pulsating with this prayer vibration. It always does. Like whenever we tap in like this, you can just feel the energy, like you can feel the wave across the globe, because I believe that she has a universal, she makes a universal, well, yes, definitely universal, but I feel like she has a global impact and reach in ways that she may or may not even be truly privy to. But I feel like there's something that happens when she calls for this prayer time, whereas people just tapping in with the highest intentions and with spiritual motivation from wherever they are, doing whatever they're doing. That's what connects us all in a moment in time. So it's lovely that we're on different time zones. She's on the West Coast particularly, so she hasn't even made it to her prayer for 12:22 just yet. But at 12:22 a.m., those that are in prayer at that time kind of get to set the stage and consecrate the space for those that are coming 3 hours or an hour, wherever you are behind that, and so on and so forth. So it's just literally like a ripple effect of good vibes. Like at the if you're not necessarily a praying type, if you can just get somewhere quietly or take a moment of peace and be intentional about proclaiming positive things, positive changes for your life, for your family, for your city, your state, your country, your job, your partner, your children, however you feel guided. I mean, if you have a heart and a mind to do so, it doesn't have to be anything stringent or, particularly eloquent. Even just, it don't even have to be words. How about that? It could just be a mental focus, a mindfulness towards positivity in a moment in time. So tap in as you will, please, please, please do. We need it. I think it's right on time. First of all, us coming out of winter solstice now in a new season. We're in a new season as winter is now among us. And also, I forgot to say, it's Capricorn season, so happy birthday to the Capricorns out there in the world. Boss up as you do so best. And we're all going to tap into that energy as well, especially, and also Mercury retrograde is coming out of Capricorn and now about to head back into Sagittarius. So we just got a whole, like shooting stars of energies all over the cosmos, and certainly within the realm active through us now. So take advantage of that force. Don't let it be in vain. Don't let it lie dormant. Let it consume you in a positive way and expel it in a high vibrational intention, if you choose to do so. Okay. Last but not least, as I get ready to Nine of Wands. Okay. As I get ready to move into the reading, don't forget December. This is the last opportunity. Well, I can't say absolute, but this certainly is the last that I can foresee of opportunities for you to just connect with me in a spiritual sense, to have your burning questions answered by way of your personal life. Love matters, family matters, money matters. I never really quite specified clearly that it could literally be any question you possibly have, and my response will be through a medium of spirituality, whether it be the cards, prayer, probably a little bit all of that, intuitive channeling. However I feel guided to be of service to bring you clarity is, my pleasure really at this time. It's more or less my gift to you. There is an energetic exchange, but certainly it's more of a seed sown in your garden, than it really is in mine, to be honest, because it's a very modest seed, I would say, that that I am requesting for the exchange of what will most certainly supersede that material inflection, for sure. It always does, trust me. Even in my best efforts to be fair, I always give a bit more. So again, if you're interested in that, asking a question or two, that information is in the description box below, and it's only for the rest of December, and we only about a week and some change out from the new year. Perfect time for you to bring some things to a close, like I said, some burning questions to some closure, or to have some forwarding insight for the new year and get ready to, get motivated to move forward. And however, you're geared up to do so. Maybe there's some clarity that I can offer and assist with for the transition. So in any event, I offer that again as my pleasure and my gift to you. I will say for sure that not long from now, you will wish that you did, take advantage of it. If you don't now, or if if time passes and you don't take the opportunity, you will wish that you had when the access was available, because it won't always be, fortunately and unfortunately. So yeah, so look down at the description box below for details. All right, so 9 of Wands, interesting. Well, this is definitely that wounded warrior card that keeps coming up. I don't feel like this is anyone's energy that's in the vibration with me. You know what I mean? Like, this is not the vibration that I've come out of in prayer. I feel very energized and ambitious and grounded and excited, like I'm rejuvenated and some, just tapping into that charge. Quite honestly, I pray and meditate every day. I'm in a walking, what I call a moving state of meditation most of my day, where I allow the universe, signs and synchronicities to speak to me all day. I don't let much slip by me without giving it meaning. Call that what you will, but that's just how I live my life and it works for me. So, given the the intensity of the prayer wave, the prayer event, I'm on a beam right now. I'm literally beaming. So I know that this is not me, and this is certainly not anyone that is tapped in a highly motivational way. So we're going to see what this energy is, but the upside of the 9 of Wands can be, kind of taking inventory over the unsavory and maybe unfavorable experiences of life, but in a way that you feel accountable for it. You feel you can take accountability for your actions to move forward beyond it. That you don't necessarily blame yourself or blame anyone else for what has been experienced, but there's more of a grace and a gratitude for all, and even some thanksgiving for the fact that you're still standing. It's been a rough year for many of us, a rough few years, a rough decade for some of us, and there have been some great feats to surmount, some battles to overcome. For some of us, we may still feel like the war isn't yet over, but maybe that's the point of this card coming up as it is that there's maybe the war on a grand scheme is not over globally, like holistically, that there's still a bit of a battle at play, but the ones that pertain to you personally, the ones that have maybe created the most casualties in your life by way of how you may have felt held back or blocked, or felt in opposition to moving forward. I mean, the 9 of Wands is the end. Well, it's the completion of a cycle of, in this regard, like a lot of pressure, like it's wand energy. So I liken it to like a resistance to your power force, the things that you've wanted to power ahead into, to achieve, to accomplish, to bring a success, to have a success story in. Your ambitions, your inspirations that maybe haven't quite materialized the way that you've envisioned it. There being a reasoning for that, maybe even being revealed now as to the who, what, where, why, and how the resistance has persisted. And it's key to not look at whatever that revelation may be from the inside out, outside in, as in a woe is me type of energy, but to see, as I said, yourself as strong enough to still be standing and have brought those things to a close, to really have fought a battle and won, more or less, because you still have breath in your body, and now it's time to bring it to an end, with the 10 being the next card over. This is like that transitional point. It's like you can't get to the 10 where you release that pressure, you lay those burdens down, you get ready to walk a life's journey that's a bit lighter and more exuberant, and where your ambitions are more free flowing, if you're still stuck in this place feeling like you want to blame everything and everyone else for why you're here in the first place. There may be some things that have occurred that were out of your control. We all have, those experiences to testify to, but for the most part, the responsibility and truly the pleasure and honor is all yours to figure out the best way to move forward despite and in spite of, So let's see what else we got here. And that was a justice card that peeked out a little bit. Yeah. Nothing has happened that hasn't. Yeah, here's that energy right here to take the best of this. That was a major jump, right? From the Nine of Wands to now being, the master of your life force and your creativity, being confident, secure, knowing how to protect yourself from that imbalanced state of life experience, of which sometimes with the Nine of Wands, we get to take responsibility for how we've co-created that reality, whether it be by the offers that we accepted, maybe less than what we deserve, by the nudges in our spirit that we may have ignored when it was time to move on or do something different, or conceptualize a new ideal about self, when it was time to have courage to stand above the fray, instead of conforming to what was expected. A lot of the energies in the Nine of Wands, that's why I always say it, like, you get to look at it with a bit of accountability for what you can take accountability for. Not everything, of course. Maybe so, I don't know, but not necessarily everything was within your control, but certainly some things we can always see where we've been co-creative in our least favorable experiences, and you get to take responsibility for that and evolve into a space and time where you are autonomous in your energetic force, where you don't feel like you're a victim, but you are indeed that victor, not a wounded warrior anymore, but just a victorious warrior, as the King of Wands is. Someone that, again, knows how to protect his territory, knows how and when to exert his ambition towards some new objective or desirable outcome, or knows exactly when to be provoked by his passions and when to maybe perhaps be self-controlled, knows who to allow in his space, even though many love to be in the King of Wands space or in engagement with the King of Wands in some way, shape, or form. Having a discernment to know how to create healthy boundaries, not to just give of your energy to anyone that is, more or less, what's the right word? Not feeling entitled to it, yes, but soliciting it, for lack of a better word. That's not really the word I'm looking for, but anybody that is soliciting your energy, you may have, with fire signs, a lot of times you have plenty to give. You almost don't even feel depleted to be over here, over there, giving a little bit to this one. Like you have a way of supercharging yourself and regenerating your life force in a way. You can also be burnt out though, which is the point as well, is not to allow yourself to give so much that you don't have anything left for yourself, just because you may have a bit more to give than some either do or are willing to, So all of that is in the maturity of the King of Wands, and still maintaining a spirit of courage and confidence, and fearlessness, even more than courage, to, amidst all of life's most unfavorable experiences, still have the ambition to create beyond, to create something that is desirable, that is favorable, so That's no small feat to have, to have matured from a great imbalance to pure stability in a passionate form at that. Having the energy and the drive to really accomplish anything that you set your mind to. Just a matter of a shift in perspective. All right, so we got the Page of Cups here, maybe some information or offer. Yeah, but with the Four of Cups, and I feel that it's like even a discernment of what you actually take action on, with the Four of Cups here coming from the Page of Cups. I always kind of give that energy a bit of a side eye. That could be adoration, that could be apologies, it could be small love offers, it could be flattery even to some degree, but kind of like, I don't know, with the Page of Cups, you kind of have to really test the spirit on what that offer is and what it's coming from. Is it something that is of a pure divine nature, or is it for some ulterior motive or purpose, or to invoke some emotional attachment, usually with the Page of Cups, as opposed to the Knight of Cups, which is more the finesse or ulterior motive, like some means to an end. The Page of Cups usually is trying to garner some emotional attachment, whether it be to feel sorry for something or to feel particularly compassionate or empathetic or sympathetic to whatever that expression may be. And the fire with the King of Wands, doubling down on what I said, like just being very clear about what you are engaging your energy into, for sure, when it comes to cup energies, because depending on the come from of that Page of Cups, it could fizzle you out, literally the water to that fire energy. It could like dampen your high vibration to absorb something that really is not meant for you to connect to. It's like, someone offering you, like making an expression of love. This is what I'm feeling like, making an expression of love to you that plays on, nostalgia, or like I said, some sympathy or empathy card in some regard. So as a King of Wands, you feel inclined to engage that offer, only to find out that it's emotionally draining. That's what I hear. Like it literally will drain the life out of you to engage that offer in the way that you would ambitiously as a King of Wands, like wholeheartedly, passionately, uninhibitedly giving your time and attention to something that it has the intention or motivation to extract more from you than it's willing to reciprocate, and it in turn could mean missing an opportunity of something that really truly is of a higher spiritual essence that won't burn you out per se, but will be a cool down, like a nourishment, like a more of a balance from your fiery, vibrant, tenacious energy, something that if you engage with it, it won't extinguish that fire, but it'll kind of like temper your ambition. So you have like a place to cool off at times. I hope this makes sense of what I'm saying. But otherwise, with this Four of Cups, it's like it would be a disappointment, like may even slow down your progression or your forward movement with this Two of Wands, like kind of veer you off of your planned path, your intention, avert your focus onto something that it's just not progressive, ultimately, is the best way I could put it. Yeah, exactly. With the Seven of Pentacles and the 7-7 and the Seven of Swords, and the Seven of Pentacles, after having invested that energy, feeling like you got duped, you got tricked, but then you got to go back to that Nine of Wands, where you have to take responsibility and accountability for how you engaged when you probably had the spiritual nudge to abstain otherwise. You know what I mean? And now that I'm saying abstain, it could even be by way of intimacy. Now that I'm thinking about it, especially when we're talking about the King of Wands and the Four of Cups. Yeah, this could be definitely, I wasn't really grasping it that way holistically, even though I said like relational offering, but yeah, it's like the King of Wands being someone that's highly attractive, that he would be the object of desire in some general sense. Maybe not everybody's cup of tea, but generally fire signs by way of the King of Wands is an attractive force. Their ambition, their boldness, their courage, their confidence alone, not even just talking about aesthetics, but just the energy is an attractive force even unto them. That's why they're so magnetic, because they usually embody those traits and some, organically, more or less. So you got to consider that there are probably more energies that want to be connected to that, and not just talking about fire signs, but if you can relate to that, those characteristics, there may be more energies that want to attract to you than you actually want to attract to, and it's like you could get caught up in the wave of energetic exchange, even particularly intimately so, and find yourself at a great loss to some degree, even with the Five of Pentacles, literally a loss materially, because the depreciation of your energetic force has now been filtered into some cup or some other vessel, whether it be human or otherwise, that is not a vibrational match. And so then you find, again, you're depreciating in your magneticism to attract as you do naturally, because as my ex used to say, your biorhythms are off. I still to this day don't exactly know what that means technically, but basically like you're not in your rhythm. I know what it means energetically is that something just ain't right. So just be mindful, of who you're engaging with, particularly given and my nose is itching like crazy, particularly given Mercury retrograde. Mercury is retrograding into Sagittarius, back into that sign again, not as controlled, not as like stringent in, your structure and order, and, a little bit more liberal, a bit more fiery and ambitious. As we're coming out of the season, it's like Mercury being there might affect how you process this engagement or the discernment for your engagements in a more liberal way, maybe even in a more aloof way. Is aloof the right word? I don't know if aloof, that's more airy than fiery, but sometimes you could let your passion get the best of you. Tis the season, everybody's having a good time. You're at that office Christmas party or at the Christmas outing or whatever the case may be, and you see something you like, or something sees something that they like in you, and it's like a little too much eggnog, a little too much vodka, or whatever the hell you drinking. Why not? You know what I mean? What harm can it do? Well, it could do a lot of harm in this season to connect with the wrong energy. More now than ever before, I would say. It is not the season to just be moving recklessly, and it's also, I'm speaking more of it from a more casual consideration of connection and interaction, whether it be intimately so or just, whatever the case may be. But it could range from all of that. You could be contemplating about a partnership, professionally, personally, or otherwise, and feeling it particularly intense, and overly ambitious about wanting to solidify it or make it official or whatever. It's like, just be sure, And with the King of Wands, there's the confidence there, but just know, as I've said, that every cup ain't gonna be for you with this Four of Cups. You know what I mean? Like every offer is not for you, but you may be the offer for everyone. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like you carrying this high octane of life force, maybe everyone else may be ideal to a lot more other people than what is truly vital and progressive and prosperous for your likeness. Hence with the Five of Pentacles here. And even to take it there a step further, this could even be bad health, actually. You know, like not just poor and material, like you lose a couple dollars, you lose an opportunity for advancement, or you get thrown off your square. Like I said, your biorhythms are off and you're just not quite performing at your max. And I don't mean that in a sexual way. I mean just energetically in life, like not at your best frequency to manifest the way that you would naturally. There's that, but it can also literally be a detriment to your physical being to hook up with the wrong person. When we say STIs in the spiritual community, it's not just spiritually, STDs, I should say, it's not just sexually transmitted diseases. It could also be spiritually transmitted diseases or spiritually transmitted infections. That's a thing. They are things. They are entities. And right now, they're just dying literally for something to connect to that actually has a high charge. And it sometimes can present itself to be in the form of a beautiful woman. Ooh, and look at that. Yes, and what was that? That was the exactly in the form of a beautiful woman that's a carrier of something very low vibrational that once you hook up, exactly, it'll throw you all off balance. You think you on your way to something harmonious, and look what's in the middle of that. So, and it ain't just a matter of, strapping up. You could exchange energies just by being in proximity with someone that you are not sure about, or that is just clearly not in alignment with you, but let alone actually exchanging bodily fluids like kissing or anything else beyond that. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know why this message is going there. Maybe, really be mindful. And I'm also feeling compelled to say, watch your drinks. Ooh, and I just got chills on that. Ooh, I just felt something on that. Watch your drinks. Don't sit your drinks down at any celebrations. Right? But be mindful of even watching, if you're particularly at a really intimate celebration, watch and see who and how your drink is being made. Don't just leave it up to the festivities, of faith, the faith of festivities, to think everything that you're being served is on the up and up. Hopefully you're not in an environment or will be in an environment like that where you even have to worry, but I just feel compelled to say that. And then I felt chills all over my body. And then the Queen of Swords is absolutely confirming it. Like, watch your drinks, watch what you're drinking, watch how much you're drinking. Know your limit. Don't drink and drive. Also, all of those things. There's something about drinking this weekend to be very careful of. What's this? That's way too much. Yep, that's another confirmation for sure. Watch your drinks. I don't like how that felt. Even given the fact that we started with the Page of Cups in the first place with that fish in the cup. Shoot, it's all right to go to a holiday party and either bring your own little flask or whatever, if that's not too tacky, or wait till you leave and go home, or pregame before you go, whatever. But yeah, watch it. Watch it. All right, let's see. It's all right to be a no to a drink, such in this regard. Usually you don't want to be refusing the Four of Cups, because that's supposed to be like nourishment from the divine or love from the divine, even self-love to some degree. But in the regard of which I'm speaking of, that's like a foreign drink. Like, you don't know where that came from. I'm gonna take that. You don't know where that came from. Exactly. You don't know where it came from, but watch it. Watch it. I guess even watch what you're eating too. Hell, while we at it. Shoot, right? Going to people's houses and you don't know how they preparing their food, or it's, I mean, not to project, but you just gotta be careful, man. You just got to be. All right, so we got the Wheel of Fortune, we got the Justice card. Otherwise, I feel like this is the setup for you moving into something powerful. Like, I don't have anything negative to say about this. If anything, with, like I said, with the Four of Cups, is just knowing what to accept, what offers for you and what isn't in this vibration, and knowing what your goal is to be in harmony and balance with whatever you establish for yourself and whatever establishment you align with, and knowing that that's destined for you to have with the Star card. Like, you're worthy of that. That's not out of reach. That's not far-fetched, that you don't have to take the first offer that you see or feel particularly eager or anxious to settle down in some way, shape, or form, like to be too ambitious to seal a deal, or to be, as I've said, like the disparity with the King of Wands and the lower vibration, to feel like, oh, why not? Just why not have a good time type of energy. It's like, no, I'd rather abstain, like I said, abstain or be celibate or whatever, to have the fullness of intimacy that I desire, what I know I'm worthy of, something that I can trust myself in and of, you know what I mean? Which is the Four of Wands here. This is two people that are trustworthy and trusting in a balanced, harmonious union. You ain't got to worry about watching your drink and this energy, literally, like the Star card, like this is all divine, like nectar of the gods we're talking about here with the Four of Wands and the Star. Like, you can drink up full open bar, top shelf, as a matter. It's all justified, it's fair, it's balanced, it's ordained, it's helping to evolve you spiritually and energetically. Those are the partnerships and the commitments that you want to be a yes to in this season, without apologies to ones that you are no thank you to whatsoever. Like, don't even feel bad. Because sometimes that's how it is. Like, you almost feel like the odd man out with the Four of Cups, or like a square, or the party pooper, or, like you even feel a bit rude sometimes to maybe go to some festivity and not really want to eat much or drink. I have felt that way. And I feel bad because it's like, well, damn, clearly I'm not eating, I'm not partaking, but I'm here, you know what I mean? Like, I'm here. Let's do this thing. I'm here in the place to be. But no, I don't want to drink, and I don't want to eat anything. I ate before I type of vibe. Like, I'm not really that hungry type of thing. But sometimes you feel bad, especially when everyone's supposed to be, come on, it's the Christmas spirit. It is the season. It's the holiday cheer. It's like, be careful. And like I said, if you even for real, like, gotta even feel like that about a place, or feel like that once you get there, it may not even be the place to be. You know what I'm saying? So, right, Wheel of Fortune is out here again. What's the Wheel of Fortune speaking to with the Empress card? Wheel of Fortune is definitely closing karmic cycles and beginning something fresh and new, more evolved. This is the evolution of you. Someone that is highly fertile. Like, consider you carrying seed, precious cargo within you. So therefore you are the precious cargo, and you going places. So you can't really afford to be caring about how people, like the Empress, don't give a damn about who she offends, more or less, when she knows that she's rightfully making a decision for her best good. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm sorry you feel that way. However, the decision is final, or even more so if we're speaking about the proposition of intimacy. You know, it's like the Empress is very selective. You're not going to just be getting it on with any old body. No, I don't care how the mood is set. You know, it's like you have something of value to protect, i.e., yourself, your kingdom, your establishment, the legacy that you're creating, you're building, and it depends on you being well. Like, as I said with the King of Wands, like fully in your capacity to conceive and reproduce and deliver for vitality for all. You know, it's not just the Empress who the Empress is accountable for in this position. You know, a great responsibility is assumed in a position of power such as this. So you have to really almost treat your body as that sacred as such, you know, to treat your being, your energy sacred as such. So again, in terms of intimacy, she's not taking any old offer from any old body. She's not putting herself, she ain't going around to every person's house in the kingdom for Christmas dinner. She's not going to every holiday party. You know, if anything, she might have a special celebration at the palace, and you best believe that's going to be invitation only and selective invitation only, you know. So it's like, and unapologetically, it just is what it is, you know. So there's a great fortune to procure and to protect here with the Wheel of Fortune. That's what this is giving me, and it is you, you know, and it Ten of Pentacles, and it is you. All right, let's see what else we got. You are the gift. Look at that. Absolutely. Now, it fell out kind of weird, but, you know, kind of came out sideways. But why? Because it is. Again, these offers, this, you know, someone coming to grovel at your feet, or, you know, insist on an apology, or insist on a emotional reconnection, or insist that you hear them out. They just got to get something off their chest with the Page of Cups. They just want to tell you how amazing you are. They want to apologize for their trespasses, you know, the opportunity that they missed with the Four of Cups. They see the error of their ways now. They see the value of who you are now. Like, okay, thanks, appreciate it. And, you know, like, to the point of not feeling guilted or shamed into even, like, the Empress doesn't entertain everyone that requests an audience with her. You know, think of the highest queen to some degree, you know. She's not feeling, you can request to have an audience, but that doesn't mean it'll be accepted or granted. Sometimes the closure that you can have with outside forces is within your own self, you know, like knowing that you're protected, you're safe, you're sound. Back to that Nine of Wands energy from the beginning, having accepted your own accountability and responsibility, and really forgiven, you know, absolved yourself of any contention with unforgiveness for your own sake. You know, even if there is cause for apologies, or there's cause for explanations or reconciliations, like, it's for the Empress in the highest vibration, it's like, it's not even necessary. Like, the fact that I am where I am, and I'm living how I'm living, and I'm protected and prosperous in the way that I have, is justice enough, as the Justice card came up for me. You know what I mean? I don't really need to be justified any other way, certainly not by any emotional expressions at this point after the fact. After it's already been said and done, I've already made it through the muck and the mire, accepted my role in it, tables have already turned to the point where that cycle is closed. It no longer affects me. We're moving on to something new that is extremely emotionally fulfilling now. Why is there even a need to backtrack to such as a Page of Cups? What are we doing here? You know what I mean? It's like, if you even still need this at this point, that's more of a question back to that Nine of Wands for you, as to what you're still holding on to. And that when I say need, I mean like it's a necessity for you to feel whole and complete or to move forward, literally with the wheel of fortune at this time. Now, it's one thing to be open to the reception. Like I said, you can grant the audience if you so choose to, but for it to make or break your prosperity at this point in time, it's like, no, exactly. Like, no, it's not. It's not necessary. It's not necessary for me to be, yeah, it's not necessary. This is the energy of the nine of Pentacles, which we call sometimes the pre-empress for sure. It's like already having found value in the past and moved on. Like, I don't even need to beat that down. Literally, with the Ten of Pentacles showing up again, right? Having found value in every lesson that's been learned at this point, and where others may still be holding on to regrets or to, possibilities or potentials, or even to her energy to some degree. It's like, that's not your problem. Masculine or feminine in this case, like people that still feel like they have something to prove, something to say, some loose ends to sew up, some closure to, again, Page of Cups, some closure to bring to their own, lives. Literally, I'm feeling the energy of people just feeling like, how can I say it? A bit overwhelmed to some degree by their own, dare I say, guilt, shame, misfortune, regret. That's what it really is. Regret for, like with the Four of Cups, is missed opportunities, or just having made a decision in a way that didn't really turn out to be as prosperous as they would have liked it to be, particularly on account of you and relation to you and connection to you, and to literally spite you. I was about to say in spite of you, but literally to spite you. There's a lot of that going around. And like I said, it's like there's no obligation for you to feel that you have to honor that exchange to feel like you can move on. The moving on is already occurring regardless at this point in time, Yep, justifiably exactly, moving on. All right, let's see. Let's get another row. I got time for one more row, and then I'm out of here. Let's see. Yep, it's over. Any betrayals already been balanced. You're just as prosperous now as you've ever been, and you already know all that you need to know. So it's like, even the energies that may want to be coming to you with their apologies or their condolences. I keep saying condolences. I don't know what that's about. But then with the Ten of Swords, I don't know. With their emotional expressions, maybe even their flattery or their love, like whatever it is, it's like, it really isn't even a drop in the bucket to all of this goodness that you're already experiencing, with the Queen of Pentacles, the High Priestess. And like I said, there's nothing anybody can really tell you right now that your spirit hasn't already made clear to you. Yeah, there's confirmation in the material sense, to actually have the evidence and the receipts for what you already knowing. But I feel like for the most part, people that are coming back with the vibration of this like regret aren't, just like with the Page of Cups, it's like not even going to be all of what you need to know anyway. It's not going to be the whole story. It's not going to be the totality of why they should feel sorry, if they even really do. You know what I mean? It's not going to be the apology, the sincere apology that you really deserve. Is not going to be pure adoration and love unconditionally. It's coming even like as I said earlier, not quite the Knight of Wands, a Knight of Cups, where there is an ulterior motive, but there is an intention for attachment. And what's the intention for attachment for? Some material or energetic exchange, even if it's just to feel absolved from the energy that they've created. That's the adverse of the Nine of Wands, as I talked about, where people aren't willing to take accountability for the reality that they created themselves. And it's like somebody that wants to come around in a Page of Cups, giving you half truths, half apologies, empty love offers, or tainted love offers, not quite giving up the whole story of why things have gone the way that they've gone. And it's like Spirit had already illuminated it, and you've already transmuted that energy anyway with no help from those out externally at this point. So what more is there needed for somebody with their little fishy cup? It's like, what am I gonna do with that at this point? I can't water my garden with that tainted water. You know what I mean? Like, now I gotta alchemize it all over again by spiritual force just to make anything good of it. And it's like, really decide whether or not it's even worth it to you to entertain certain offers. Yeah, justice. Look at this. And the Page of Wands can be good news to some degree, particularly about expanding, moving forward. But I'm reading this as somebody wants to alleviate themselves of the burdens that they have created so that they can have a new start, a new beginning. Even though, as we can see, the frequency of it is really not all that great when you consider the difference between the king and the page. And it's like you can have just as much as you can have. Look, oh, well, I actually thought that was the Page of Swords, but that's even more confirmation to be in this vibration, to really discern, like, what's it worth to you at this point? Like, what value does it have to me? What justice does it serve to me to entertain your desire for absolution or forgiveness? Like, I've already forgiven all that I need to forgive, which is why I'm moving forward in the first place. Like, me forgiving you to your face or hearing you out is for you, not for me at this point. And that's between you and your highest self, your supreme source or spirit, your ultimate truth, And the fact that people, to some degree, still are operating like teeter-tottering on that line of ulterior motive for absolution and not really being wholeheartedly sincere speaks great volumes to the character anyway, and that they need to be rerouted toward their supreme self or source because that's where the true absolution is going to come from anyway. Nothing that you could say could ever lighten the load for someone in the Ten of Swords. You had to go get it for you. That's the fairness, that's the justice and the balance, equal give and take, cause and effect. It's like you had to go get it for you and find your way to a new beginning. That's all that's required for all of us. Nothing unfair here. And don't feel, particularly, don't feel like you gotta alleviate anybody else's karma or burdens for them or obstruct or deter any destruction or alleviate any destruction. That is not your responsibility. It's just not. And I feel like I'm saying that because with that Page of Cups, that's also the intention for detachment, and to evoke sympathy and empathy, to almost make you feel like, well, once upon a time, I wish somebody would have helped me. You know what I mean? Or how you felt when you were the odd man out, left out in the cold with that Five of Pentacles to fend for yourself. Most of the people that are coming to the board now with their hand out were the ones that kept it moving onto their own means of success. And yeah, exactly. They kept it moving right on along and didn't even think twice to look back and reach a helping hand out. And I'm not saying that you got to be cold-hearted or calloused or mean or even vindictive. No, that's not even the evidence here for someone that's vibrating in this energy. It just means that just because you are, you have ascended and transcended your traumas and those tragic moments in your life, doesn't mean that you're now obligated to help anyone else out of that very organic experience of life, especially one that was created by themselves. You know what I mean? This is the energy here of someone that may have been manipulative to some degree to create these tower moments in their own lives, really as a backfire, which is what the tower is, to the manipulation that they were projecting perhaps onto you. And somehow you were able to create a miracle, doing the best with what you had and sometimes with what you didn't, to see your way out into a fresh start, a new beginning, maybe perhaps multiple times over, with the 10 of swords and the page of wands, like having to start over many times, multiple times, and still keep the faith that on this north star energy, that there's that highest vibration of self is still possible and plausible. You know what I mean? That sometimes doing it on your own independently with at least very little understanding otherwise, you know, even if you may have been surrounded by people, like sometimes that didn't even matter when you felt like you were misunderstood in some way, shape, or form. So it's like, hell no. Like if you feel called, literally you feel like it's the integrity of your supreme self to take your resources, whether that be in spirit or in truth, your energy, and to be of service to others, you better make damn well sure that you're assigned to do so. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Exactly. Because some people are out of alignment with your assignment at this point. Maybe you were slated to, literally in the past cycle, were slated to be a support system for them, a healing, a helping hand, inspiration, something of great fortune. But the really very popular trend is that a lot of those energies that you presented yourself to be a resource to rejected it when it was most available to them for other things, i.e. for the Three of Cups, more, something more exciting, more tantalizing to their carnal senses, more, I don't know, like whatever, something they thought was better. Honestly, quite honestly, they thought it was a higher fortune than what you had to offer. And now that wheel is turning, it's like the illusions have dissipated to see everyone for exactly who they are, including to see your own self in the mirror clearly for who you've been and what you've passed up, what you forfeited, what you wish you could have done differently, how you may have misaligned or poorly invested your energy, how you may have, associated yourself dysfunctionally. Like all of those things are coming into crystallization now for some in a way that's almost forcing them to backtrack to for retribution or reconciliation, like all of those things. And for some, it may really be the currency of sorrow and, like I said, disappointment and remorse and regret, which can be two different vibrations, but can definitely exist one and the same. But it still doesn't have to pull on your heartstrings. Because remember, at the very top of this, with the Page of Cups and the King of Wands, remember I said that you're being identified as someone that has a great deal, much more can have a great deal more of a resource to offer than what you may find is reciprocal for you. So just because you are the source doesn't mean you have to be the force, and that's evident even here with the Queen of Pentacles in the maternal expression of prosperity here, who likes to share, who likes to nurture, who likes to give and invest. But in her maturity, though, she knows what's a good investment and what's not. And that's energy, time, influence, power, and money. All of it matters. Yeah, exactly. Because there's some people that's just out here wanting to get back up in the game, to get back to a place where they could overindulge again, and probably even more so than ever before. So you hook up with somebody this time around that you may have gotten away from before, it might be worse of an attachment than you may even be able to detach from this time around. Like, there was grace for all in the past season, you know what I mean, on every side of the spectrum. But now you'll have no one else to blame with that, back at that Nine of Wands, but yourself, if you let yourself get put back into a wounded warrior position on account of ignoring your emotional intelligence. Nah. You gotta be in some. The Queen of Swords is a very relevant energy in this season. It's like just open enough to hear you out, but just guarded enough to protect yourself. With no apologies, no F's given. Yeah, it's like let people work for it like you did. If they're not ordained to be in alignment with your assignment, let them get it the way that you got it. There's no harm, no foul in that. And it's not vindictive, it's not rude, it's not heartless, it's not cold. And the thing of it is if you are privy to an outside looking in view, it might suck a little bit to see people that you care about, particularly, you know, in energy such as this. Like it almost will look a little, it won't look as graceful as when you were experiencing it. Let's put it that way, at least from the outside looking in. You may have felt like this a great deal in your encounters, but from the outside looking in, you were actually looking like this or like this to a lot of people, even going through the worst of your experiences. Like, wow, you know, that magician energy where it almost doesn't even make sense for you not to look like what you've been through. I know I can definitely testify to that for sure, because people wouldn't even believe the hardships that I was incurring on the intimate aspect and from the intimate points of my life, that on the outside, yeah, I might have looked a little different, a little, you know, gained a little weight or lost a little weight, or, you know, not maybe didn't dress as flashy or fashionable as I used to once upon a time, or didn't have a car, and, you know, material things you can catch easily. But in terms of my projection of energy, my will, my strength, my determination, I know for a fact there were a lot of times when people just didn't expect me to get back up from a state of depression or despair or just not having it. Five of Pentacles in general. And surprise, motherfuckers, here I am again, back in the Nine of Pentacles, like ready to go. Because the Nine of Pentacles is not about money, wealth per se. It's about the vitality, the confidence, the courage, the boldness to keep going, to keep on manifesting from that internal spiritual space of wealth that eventually will make its way out to the 3D, or make its way to you in the 3D if you're persistent enough to, you know, continue in that vibe. It's not holding on to every penny or holding on to even appearances of looking like you had it all together, because it wasn't even that for me. I've been very honest and transparent about my highs and lows, probably too transparent to some degree, you know, but all in all, and I thank God, you know, to have a moment to definitely be in gratitude for the Most High, supreme force and source that I submit to, for sure, that I've been kept through the worst of times and preserved for the best of times, which eyes have not seen and ears have not heard. The goodness that truly is upon me, even in this season now. You know, but just keep on watching. Just keep on watching. But the point of the matter is that there was a great deal of work that went into me solidifying that place of security for myself. And that's, like I said, that's all that any of us are called to. And there's a grace for it all. And there was an extreme season of grace for it all. And as I've said many times, that everybody made their choices. Everybody picked their path. and now the harvest is yielding accordingly. So, and what I was saying is that, I kind of went off on a tangent, but you may look from the outside looking in at others struggle to get to that place of stability and security that you are familiar with, but it might look a little different now because of the reality that's been created, the stage more or less that's been set to now do that in. Some people forfeited the last karmic cycle to get it together, and now they're having to do so in this cycle. And as I said, it don't look the same. It's not the same level of grace and, I would even say in mercy to some degree, but not because God isn't the same in whatever energy you ascribe that to be. It's that your seed, your harvest is now overgrown. So those that sowed in the way that I spoke of from my own testimony are seeing a different garden than those that were intentional about causing disruption and chaos. It's like now we all have our garden to continue to cultivate at this time, and yet we're still responsible for tilling it all the same. You know what I mean? Like your tools are no different than mine, but this is the lot that you've carved out for yourself, So I can't go over to someone else's lot of despair and dishonor and depression and, especially who was throwing weeds over into my garden. What do you think I'm going to take home at the end of the day? Those same weeds are those same insects, you know what I mean? They're going to follow me over to my garden and feast on, my foliage, so to speak, my produce. It's not the season for that. That season, that's why it's a new wheel. The wheel of fortune has turned because now we're in a new cycle. The world card has been coming up a lot. It's the closing of old cycles, the beginning of new ones, and everyone has to be accountable. Unless you feel assigned, you are well within your rights to just focus on your own garden at this point. You have far more to serve within your assignment than to feel obligated to do so from some past season of harvest that's come and gone at this point, that really yields no fruit for you to do so. Yeah, and it's like people have the expectation, in their despair, some people are still counting on, well, she's a good person, he's still a good person. Like if they just see me, if they could just hear the story, if they could just hear my excuse, my story, that, maybe they'll actually, come to my support or to my aid. And meanwhile, you off into some distant horizon now. You're not even, don't feel bad feeling like your back is turned or even averting your eyes intentionally from seeing people struggle in the way that they are, because even that can be a bit torturous for you when you're moving in a different direction, and it can almost compel you to feel like you have to do something. But your attention is called otherwise, to greater horizons. This is literally looking on across more distant shores of expansion, of how you can expand your reach, your impact. Again, help who you are designed and assigned to help at this point in time, and give prayer and project positivity toward anyone that's just going through what you went through, because that's all it is, nothing more, nothing less, really, in the grand scheme of things. You can send them positive energy, even if you choose to, because you may not even feel inclined to do that, and that's your decision as well. But sometimes that's more proactive and potent, honestly, than you actually getting in and getting your hands dirty and then not being able to get the grime off of your own. You know what I mean? Like, just pray for people and hope for the best for them. Like Neff, the angel goddess, always says, and it sounds so harsh what she said, because she's really not that. She doesn't project herself to be that type of energy, but sometimes she says, like, be strong. I was. And how she says it is always so cynical to me, but it's the truth. It's like, what do you want from me type of thing, like I had to pull myself up by my bootstraps spiritually and get through every test and trial and hurdle, and some of the things that weren't even supposed to be in my way and on my path, I still had to surmount them too. And some people that were supposed to be for me actually working against me, and some people that were supposed to love me actually hating me. And I had to deal with all of that, and I'm here still standing with grace and gratitude to tell the story, to give the testimony, if anything, see from me that it can be done. I was your prime evidence, So if that doesn't transmit a hope and an incitement of faith and a drive, a will for you to do it for yourself, then nothing I can do with my hands and my mind and my actual energy will do it for you. It's time for you to pull yourself up by your bootstraps and get through that muck and the mire, that you get to take responsibility and accountability on your own accord, and look toward that North Star, which is always going to be shining. It's the beacon that will never die. It will always be hearkening to you, to your supreme self, if you're willing to answer to it, to follow it, So for those that have answered in that previous cycle and are just pretty much here, receiving the gifts of the wise men at this point in time, rightfully so, enjoy yourself and take no guilt or shame for doing so. Really celebrating all that you've accomplished, all that you've overcome. This is the season of celebration, and you have every right to do so. Not just for what is now, but as I'm continuously saying, that there's so much more in store. This is just the beginning. This is the beginning. And the one thing for sure that you will be accountable for is protecting the vitality of your presence, as the Spirit wants to continue to add more unto it. Okay? Prayer for everything and everyone else, respectfully and respectively. All right, so that's all I got to say. Happy Friday again. Enjoy yourself this weekend responsibly, safely, soundly, with integrity. All of those things matter. Don't get too loose on the goose and find yourself in despair, okay? And right straight in time for the holidays. We still have much more life to live beyond Christmas, and even to prepare for the new year and beyond. So be safe, be sound, and enjoy, for sure. Indeed. Be in spaces where you can enjoy without inhibition. I truly wish that for you. All right? And until next time, as always, for now, I leave you with peace.